Hello, I'm doing some upgrades on the tail for Halloween. I'm just in the middle of reassembling everything and doing the last few mechanical bits before I finish off the electronics. And I figured at this stage I would show you how the mechanics actually work with some detail. There is the one video I did with horrible lighting, and then there's the nice one from the hack lab, but I didn't really give any explanation. What's going on here is we've got the four pull cables that go all the way down the length of the tail to the tip. So those pop through the aluminum plate back here, and one comes across onto this spool, and the other one travels along this Teflon pulley that's under very little friction. Like even now I can just slide it back and forth with my finger. And that rides on the shaft of the up and down motor. The spools are also spring loaded, so there's a spring that pulls the pulley to maintain tension on the wire, and then there's a pin limit, so it can only go so far, because if I don't limit them, then the springs overstretch and pop out and horrible things happen. But it's just enough motion for things to work smoothly. And again, in the tip there are even more cushion springs, basically, which just maintain cable tension. So now I have a brass plate in between that keeps these from crossing over each other, so they're kept totally separate. And this is also basically a push plate to bend the guide spring pointing the right way. And that's solid back here. So if I move it back and forth, you can see. Sorry, probably not very stable or clear here. There we go. Yeah. Back and forth. And up and down. And tension on here doesn't really seem to slow this motor down. I've done a couple tests and it just doesn't really seem to interfere with anything. Down here there are bearings buried underneath that take all the pressure down here and push it back onto this plate, which is right against one of the springs anyway, so it's pretty much direct pressure. It's all designed to take tension. It's all about the pressure happening here. The new segments and brackets are a lot tougher at the base, so clamped I can literally stand on these without a problem. And that's the idea, is I'll be able to sit down or even lie on my back and not damage anything. I'm trying to make this as robust and realistic as possible. Now the reason the motors are out right now is I modify them. They come stock with this coil and a current protection resistor fuse thingy. And I basically overclock them by shorting that all out, by putting copper jumpers in. So the reason these mounts are open back is so that I can change motors on the fly. So I hope to set it up with a strap system so I can change motors in something like 5 minutes, because I know I'm going to toast these. Later I wish to change to something more like a pancake motor, this style, because it looks a lot smaller, it's shorter, and they have a lot more torque. They're a little slower, but they have a lot more torque, which is what I need. So anyway, that's a little more detail on the mechanics. I've also heat shrinked the ends of these springs so they all have like a funnel shape to them, and it guides them onto the cable guide springs so that they don't catch the snap like they used to. They still do it a bit, but it helps. So it's moving back and forth. Anyway, so that's how it works. That's why I crammed it into that small of a space. Later.